What's Broca's aphasia, and what's music therapy got to do with it? So to begin with, let's talk about aphasia before we talk about Broca's aphasia. So aphasia is a language disorder or language impairment. It affects the way a person speaks or comprehends speech. It also affects the way a person reads or writes. Aphasia is caused by an injury to the brain, the left side of the brain, the language centers of the brain. And this might happen through a stroke or traumatic brain injury, that is a bump to the head, maybe on a road accident or something like that. It can also happen by infection in your brain or a brain tumor. Now, there are many forms of aphasia, and in this video we're focusing on Broca's aphasia, which is what this gentleman has. People with Broca's aphasia have trouble speaking, although they do understand speech. They only have a problem with retrieving the words. They know what they want to say, and so their intelligence is intact. But they have trouble. They use a lot of effort to communicate, to let out what they want to say. So it's also known as non-fluent aphasia. When you're having a conversation with such a person, you would literally see the effort they're putting into trying to talk back, and really all you have to do is just be patient and wait it out, wait for the person to say what they have to say. Don't rush it. Don't put too many questions in one sentence. You can just let out one question at a time and just wait for the person to respond. Kama kuna kitu kimekufurahisha?
Mimi nafurahishana na hii gitaa na keyboard. Gitaa na keyboard na dada yake kama rangi hii.
Okay. So you don't have to talk louder. You don't necessarily have to talk slower because the person's intelligence is usually intact. Now, something that's really, really interesting about people with Broca's aphasia is that their musical expression is not affected by the injury. And so you find that they can sing fluently. And when they do sing fluently, if you were to meet this person at a time, let's say it was a choir rehearsal or something, and you met this person during that session, you would not know that this person has Broca's aphasia because for many of them, they can sing fluently. For some of them, it could be a little bit more effortful because maybe they have more damage to the brain. But if it was only the language centers for Broca's aphasia, it would be the music part, the singing part is intact. And for that reason, many speech language therapists have used music or melodic intonation therapy to help them in their speech therapy. Now, if you look at the bigger picture, this gentleman, he has traumatic brain injury, and this happened, decades ago actually. So at this stage, everything is sort of already set. Now, if it was a more recent event, you would find that music therapy can be used in other aspects of his life, not just in his speech, right? So we're talking about gait, we're talking about the use of his hands. So working together with a physiotherapist, the goals would be to help this person to use or to make meaningful use of his hands, his arms, to be able to walk better. In this case, we're talking about gait, the stride, the cadence, and all that. There's a field of music therapy known as neurological music therapy, and that usually has to do with the function of the brain using techniques such as rhythmic auditory stimulation, that's for gait. There's therapeutic instrumental music performance, that is to help with the um, upper limbs, the functions of these arms and balance. And there's melodic intonation therapy, which is used also by speech therapists for helping in speech and language. Now, for someone who has recently gone through a stroke or a traumatic brain injury, there are other psychotherapeutic methods that are used in music, like songwriting, therapeutic singing, to help with the person's well being. And I think that's something that everybody can relate to. So the gentleman in the video, he is well adjusted. The accident happened way back when he was still a child. Um, he doesn't actually recall the accident, and for the sake of his privacy, I prefer not to talk about it. My time at the center is coming to a close, and I suggest to him that we write a song. Now, like I said, he is well adjusted. He's a generally happy person. At this stage, I'm not really looking into self-concept. The method of songwriting is a really good way to talk about your situation. So we're talking about psychoanalysis, and also it's where psychotherapy can also occur in music therapy. In this case, we are just creating something wonderful for him to stay with when I'm not there. The therapy ends, but the song is forever. So that's what we are trying to look at. It's definitely for me an opportunity to get him to talk about other things, because his main topic is the keyboard. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. He has a keyboard that has been spoiled for a while, and in every session that becomes the topic of discussion. Right from the time I met him, he was always talking about this keyboard, the buttons, the songs in it, and I could see that the keyboard is really part of his identity.
Mimi kwa ajili hii keyboard keyboard nasikiaga roho yangu inapiga kama hii
I don't know if he can play it really, and looking at his limitations, his physical limitations, I kind of doubt that he would, but he is connected. He has a connection with it, and that's something that gives him a lot of joy. And so he talks about it a lot. He's got a wide repertoire of words to do with the keyboard and to do with music. And in the songwriting, we go through various themes. I've tried to do that deliberately so that we can explore other topics, you know, the weather, the food, the area where they stay there at the center. I want him to talk about other things and hopefully help him retrieve or build other types of vocabulary. That has to be his favorite song. He sings it maybe even 3 times in each session, as he should. Shouldn't get tired of it. It's a lovely song. So I decided to just throw in this shameless plug on behalf of this gentleman, because if not me, then who? I mentioned some time ago that I had taken his keyboard for repair because I found it sitting there 6 months in. There was nothing being done about it, and I just asked if I could find someone to fix it. So I took it to two fundis, and still it's not been fixed. So I just had to take it back. It was heartbreaking, actually, because when he saw the keyboard, he thought it was fixed, and then I had to tell him that it was not fixed. So here I am. I'm standing in front of some beautiful flowers to make this video as pretty as possible because I am appealing to your kindness. If you know anybody who is a good electronics person who can fix this keyboard pro bono, and just really make his day or just make his life, that would be really, really wonderful. I would appreciate it. I am very, very far from Nairobi. Well, I think it's really far. It's about 4 hours considering traffic and potholes. So I'm asking for maybe somewhere in the area of Nakuru, and then I could see how I can deliver the keyboard to you and have it fixed and then bring it back so that his life can go back to normal, because he's not going to stop talking about it. He always tells me that he prays about it. And if you are the person, maybe one of the 60 people who get to view this video, that is touched by this story, it will be super, and you will be, blessed immensely by this guy, because he is so prayerful. And you can be sure that you'll have more days in your life if you can make this happen for him. I would truly, truly appreciate it. Or you might be the person who has a keyboard lying about in your house. There's no use for it. Maybe the kids have grown up and they've gone, or you yourself, you are using it and you've upgraded to another instrument, maybe a better instrument, and you're willing to donate this to maybe the center. That will be awesome as well. I'm not asking for anybody to buy a keyboard, but I am actually asking for a donation. Yes, shameless plug, but I think it's going to really uplift someone's life if they would have that to do in the course of their day rather than just sitting out under a tree. That would be amazing, really. And I'll be super, super, super relieved because I don't know what to do. Yeah. So, and if it's not you, and you can share this with somebody, someone out there. There are quite a lot of bees here. I'll try not to stay in their way. Like this video if you liked it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the other videos on these playlists. They might be useful to you. And on that note, I'll see you in the next video.